want to do that very first. Okay.
Yeah, we started.
We started. Okay, how are you guys doing today?
That is Darius.
Oh my God, that's Thaddeus.
Thaddeus.
What?
Thaddeus.
Okay, Thaddeus.
Nah, I like Thaddeus better.
Whatever here.
Damn, that's not nice.
And this is the Why Did I Incarnate podcast.
And today,
We'll be discussing.
you forgot.
I
Did
know.
You, I'm gonna
but
need you to know.
I know. It's
Nah, we just messing
how are
with
we
y'all.
phrasing it?
We just phrasing it.
So go for it. Just phrasing it.
So pretty much, we're going to piggyback a little bit from our last podcast called Breaking the Habit.
But every podcast actually piggybacks. We just never say, "Hey, this is a piggyback." They just do it naturally. So now we're breaking the fourth wall. If you think about it, we're talking about what we're going to discuss, even though it's already going to be discussed. Does it make sense? What?
It makes sense.
It does. Okay.
As long as they understand.
Yes.
I understand.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Last time we spoke about breaking the habit, breaking the negativity, and creating the positivity. This podcast will discuss how to maintain that positivity and what you can expect in the midst of the maintenance. Yes.
so keep it momentum.
Yes.
Keep it
essentially.
momentum. Okay, so Darius, would you like to give them a bit of an example of your life so far in this past week, sir?
So, let's say I have like last week. I think I was going through like a shitty moment. Basically, I was like, "Fuck, I don't like people." I was basically just thinking about past things that aren't occurring in this current moment, and it was weighing down on my energy fields. I wasn't at my peak. I wasn't standing in my power. I was feeling low. And something I did to create a momentum of positivity and of standing in my power, and to maintain that power once I stood in it, was to essentially, literally just look around my immediate surroundings and focus on that which I enjoy. I feel like I discuss this every single podcast, and I will continue to discuss it every single podcast, because I'm feeling that the more I speak on it, the bigger the epiphany. I feel like if you were to listen to this podcast and then go back to the very first one, the information that I say in this one, and that will probably be the same, but the way it speaks to you then and now is completely different. Does that make sense? Because I feel like you're going to come in contact with, regardless of when you're hearing this, you're going to hear this when you need to hear this. So I feel like if I only say it in one episode, they might not hear that episode, but if it's in all of them, they'll hear that one particular episode that speaks to them more than the last one did.
Consistency.
Yes, precisely. So I was feeling bad. What do I do to not feel bad? I literally look around my space and I speak out loud what I appreciate. Because when you speak out loud, you're adding more focus to something. You're adding more of your body into it and more of your energy into it. As a result, the universe starts to pay more attention. You start to create a bigger momentum because of the amount of momentum added unto the current state of being, if you will. So I essentially looked around, and I literally, sounds crazy, I like trees. Nature feels good. It's really nice weather outside. 77 degrees, that's pretty good for Florida. I have clothes, I have a home, I don't pay rent. My phone bill's only $50. How great is that? That is awesome. I live a lavish lifestyle. Not really, but I don't pay any bills or whatever. I have to think about Prince, if you think about it, because I'm not paying for shit. I'm living freely and stuff. So yes, that created a great foundation for the positivity. But I don't expect anyone to go around all day just being happy about every little thing. So what you can do to kind of like really exponentially increase the foundation that has been laid by the right page of positivity, you can write down what you love. I do 5 pages of what I call my list of appreciation. So I'll put, I appreciate my room. I'll write it down and I'll say it out loud. And I do this for like 5 pages. And the things that come to me, just like sometimes I'll say I love the feeling of clarity. I love the thought of clarity. I love how clarity feels when it comes to me. I love the feeling of passion, of excitement. And in the midst of writing those things down, I have a crazy idea for my YouTube channel. I'll somehow rendezvous with someone who gives me a crazy idea for my YouTube channel. Things will come to me. Things will manifest in ways that I wouldn't have expected them to, just because I provided the attention towards it with the expectation of it happening. So I write these lists of appreciation with the expectation of providing more of what I'm appreciating into my life. And that adds to the momentum. And because you're writing it down, you're using your hand, your physical body is into it, your mind's into it, your eyes are into it, your focus is into it. Because when you write things down, as you know, you recall them faster and more adequately, as opposed to just talking them or reviewing them. Because by writing them down, you're viewing them, you're talking about it, and it's becoming much more who you are because your body is into it just as much, okay? So you want to first just notice what you want to create, and then build that momentum daily. I do these lists daily, and they help greatly. What about you think?
so far in Thad's world.
Thad's world.
Sorry, I know that's small. Thad's universe. Thad's universe.
See, I'm dimensional. You're on a universal. It's kind of lame.
I mean, but that's your perspective in that Darius dimension of yours. I mean, you're doing dimensions, but universe. It's nice though. This is cute though. You tried. But stay sitting down. So, what I've noticed with myself lately is I've noticed what I've been doing is more kind of like moving my energy around in my body a little bit more frequently. I started doing that a few days ago, and I noticed that when I used to do it a long time ago, when I would just get in the habit of playing with my energy and stuff like that, I felt good. I felt relaxed and things like that. And another thing is that I was more focused and things like that. So it felt really good. I've been doing that. I've noticed that when I was doing that, the things that I remember as I was teaching myself, like stuff with energy, was starting to come into play. So this weekend, work has been really good. If y'all know me, I can't stay in my job like 70% of the time. Huh?
I said, wow.
Yeah, so like 70% of the time. But this weekend, the vibes were high. Like I was laughing. We had a good time. It was teamwork. It was whatever. And I consciously focused on the good stuff. But there was other stuff that was happening. But I was just like, you know what? No. I'm not trying to drop the vibe or nothing like that. But I noticed that when I did that simple action of doing something that made me feel good in like different areas, my energy, my mind, I was getting in movement. I noticed my surroundings changed. And then as I kind of kept doing that, one of the things I learned is that it's really consistency with momentum, keeping the consistency up. Another thing that I noticed recently, this happened this morning because I've been in that flow, was I've noticed that sometimes when I wake up and I'm going to work, I immediately go into these patterns of thoughts. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know if this, gotta make sure this shit is gonna be done, or I gotta see. And I'm like, and usually some people try to fight out or think it's something negative, but I've learned to like let it play, but go into that observing state, like just observe the thoughts. I'm like, huh, okay, this is a pattern. Noticing this is a pattern I have like right before I go to work. So then what came to me is I need to ask myself this question: do I want to give power to this thought or not? I have choice. So that was a big thing for me. So today I was going to work, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go in here. We're gonna see if these people are gonna do whatever. And I was like, no, do I want to give power to that? Or do I want to be good? So not be good, but I thought of something different. So I did that. So I went into work, and then my manager, apparently he left a note, whatever, saying that we didn't refill or stock up on the alcohol or whatever, and it's unacceptable. And immediately I could feel myself kind of going to that space like, this is too fucking early for this shit. But I was like, do I want to give power to this? I was like, nope. So I took the note, balled it up into the big right in the trash, and kept going.
You make a great point in ways you don't understand. So of course, I'm going to expect the vibration to decrease at one point or another. But notice how, okay, so you said he left your note, and immediately you thought, you know what, nigga, I don't got time for this. I'm going to keep it kicking. The fact that emotion exists, the fact that there's even a perspective of something negative happening, is a part of your creation. I want to make a point here. Earlier, you also said that every time you get to work, or you think about like certain things that aren't going to be up to par, those thoughts of negativity are in itself a manifestation. You're creating those thoughts. So yes, I don't want people to wait till they feel negative. I want them to think about when they start to think about it, because that's a part of the momentum. Your thoughts are becoming the act. Well, first you have the thoughts, then you feel it. So when you feel frustrated, the thoughts were there before the frustration. Trust. Frustration isn't just out of the blue nowhere. Unless you're an empath and you're already grounded and you're picking up on random stuff. But naturally you're not. You're not just going to be picking up on random energetic fields. You're going to be picking up on your own energy and these thoughts that don't belong to you. Because again, our default emotion is love by default. So if you aren't feeling buoyant You aren't feeling whimsical. You aren't who you truly are. You're someone else. And that someone else isn't you. So detach from it. Be aware of it first. You have to be aware of it. Detach from it. And then do what? Stand more in your power of who you are, which is love. And love is appreciation. Appreciation is essentially focusing on that which you want to experience more of. And if it's a negative thought that you don't want to experience, don't focus on it. But be aware of the thought so you cannot focus on it. I feel like this episode is a great, like, not like a midway point, but like a great synopsis of what has been discussed before. Because I'm thinking of different episodes we just talked about like a few weeks ago that are playing a role in this one. But it's all coming to full circle now because what we're basically discussing is how to live your life right. I feel like from this point on, for whatever reason, I feel like the next few podcasts won't be a negative one. It won't be like, oh, how to get out of the gutter. It's going to be more, now that you're positive, what to do in this positivity. So what can you do now that you're positive? Yes, the first step is feeling good. The first step is to be in a place of reception because that is the place of positivity. That's where this is going. How do you receive? Because why are you here? To create. How can you create? You receive these creations and you want to push them out to the world. Because if your default is love, while you're in a state of love, more love will be brought to you. And the love can be in the form of ideas, epiphanies, joyous encounters, rendezvous with people who inspire you to be better, rendezvous with people who tell you great things about how to make more money. They increase your abundance, which can come in the form of a great idea, the form of a great emotion, the form of feeling content or at peace with what is, knowing more is on its way to your existence. Abundance can be anything or what you make it. And it can come in ways that you can't possibly expect simply because you're in a loving position. You're in the reception mode. You're in the receptive mode to receive. You can't receive if you aren't receptive of what is meant to be received. Does that make sense? You have to receive to be receptive. And how do you do that? You got to expect to get to that state. You can't expect to receive great news or expect to receive things that will benefit you if you're looking out for the bad things. If you're going, I'm going to use that example, but if you're going like to work expecting for negativity to occur, something I've been doing recently that I've had great results with. I got a new job. This was my first freaking day or whatever. I basically write things I love about my job. I love that teamwork is a great thing. I love that people do their motherfucking job. They do their job, man. And it's miraculous to see this. I love that the managers are so friendly and nice, but at the same time they're adamant and they expect you to do a good job. And I love that we have such a high quality for excellence. Our standard is excellence. I love that. And I talk about this before I go to work, and I'll look at the roster and see who I'm working with, and I'm like, okay, this person, he's funny. I love that he's funny. I love that he makes me laugh. I love that he makes his guests laugh. Every record he has, they laugh. They love him. I love that about him. Then I go down to the next person. Oh, this person, he's smart as hell. Very intuitive. He's going to pick up when this table integrated. He's going to sell these crab cakes. He's going to make good money. I did this for everybody. And sure, lo and behold, I come in contact with only those traits that I mentioned. And because I'm focusing on the positivity, I'm focusing on this joy, I'm receiving all of that. Because everything you experience, the fact that you listen to this podcast, the fact that it's we're recording this at 10 p.m., the fact that you are here right now is a creation. Every little thing, the fact that you were driving in front of a red car today, the fact that you saw a black car today, these are all manifestations. And in order to be aware of these manifestations is the power of, to be aware is to understand your power to create. It's with awareness that becomes a creation. That was 2 podcasts ago. We did a whole 30-minute segment on that. Great episode. Go watch it. But what I'm getting at is that in order for you to do all the things you want to do, because underneath this frustration, underneath this sulkiness of not being who you are, because you're loved and that's not who you currently are existing as. So underneath all of this not being who you are is the desire to create. And what do you want to create? You will have these great ideas, these great epiphanies that will come to you when you're in the receptive mode. And you can only get in that mode when you appreciate all of what is. And once you are there, you'll know it because you'll feel like nothing can touch you. You'll feel like you just feel buoyant. You'll feel whimsical. You'll feel like you're on top of the world. And the second you dip anything lower than being on top of the world, you'll know in ways you have never known before. Because how do you know? Because you're so used to being at the default level of love that anything that isn't love will just feel like death. It'll feel horrible. Even the slightest little twinge of judgment or frustration will feel like the worst thing ever because you are now in tune with who you truly are. But getting to that place isn't always as hard as you might think it is. It isn't as hard as you might think it is. Because, yes, you do need to focus on things that make you happy. And, yes, if you're living a shitty lifestyle and you're surrounded by things that don't make you happy, it might not be easy to focus on that. But what I like to do is be as specific as I can while still feeling good. So let's say I hate Thaddeus. Thaddeus is wearing a red shirt. I love the color red. I want to appreciate the color red. What else is red? Roses are red. I love roses. What else is red? velvet cake. I love red velvet cake. Tastes amazing. I want to go like this. I want to completely forget about Thaddeus, and I want to focus, keep building that momentum of the things I like. Starting with something so simple as the color red. And want to keep going, and eventually, very quickly, you will feel joyful. And another thing, kind of switching topics, but in order to like really, so I'm speaking of the law of attraction. I'm speaking of manifestations, and I'm sure someone's wanting to manifest money, abundance. Yes. Okay. So while you're focusing on something, what you're doing is you're kind of building this bubble up. And the more you focus on this one thing's bubble of this energy increases and increases. But the more as you continue to focus on it, it increases, but it doesn't get cut off and sit in the universe. Think of a balloon. You hold a balloon by the string, and yes, you pump air into it. But if you don't tie it off and you cut the string, if you don't cut the string, it won't fly up. It'll always be with you. Think of all of the energy you're putting out to the universe as a balloon. You're constantly filling this balloon up with energy. But in order to let this energy create and to go off to the universe so you can receive, you have to cut that string. And you do that by focusing on something else for a bit, by not focusing on that. So I want abundance, I want money, I got a job, I have all this. What else do I have? Peace, I have ease. So I guess abundance is to the right, peace and ease to the left. A little off topic, but what for whatever reason came to mind, do that. Allow yourself to create this abundance, but don't allow it to overcompensate anything else. Because it's in the seeking of this abundance that prevents the abundance from occurring to you. I'm speaking to someone very specific. I don't know why. But someone very specific is going to really benefit from this. But it's the seeking of the abundance that prevents the abundance from coming to you. Because you're constantly focusing on it. And you're constantly trying to bring it into your experience. Where you are realizing it's the focus of it on it at all times. And not letting it go. So it can soar to the universe so you can receive it. That's holding it back. That's holding it back. And how do you receive it? You have to be in the receptive mode. And by constantly wanting something that you aren't physically aware of, even though you are abundant, because you're listening to this podcast, we're providing abundance to you for free on a regular basis. This is some top-notch shit we're teaching you guys. G shit. This is some really good stuff. You're abundant by default, just because you're here. And because you aren't aware of that, you aren't in the receptive mode to receive that. So you won't be able to benefit from it unless you get into that default state of love. Default state. And because it's default, this is where the focus comes in. Yes. Because it's a default state, what do you do to get there? You stop all thought. That's what meditation's for. I meditate to music. I meditate to motivational speakers. Abraham Hicks comes to mind. Brandon Burchard comes to mind. 15 minutes. I listen to the words, nothing else, and I will feel like I'm flying when you're done. That's how you meditate for focus. Of course, you meditate and talk to your spirit guides and intergalactics, but if you want to just be on your default setting, which is love, you remove all momentum of anything else. So you just focus and for 15 minutes, listen to whoever you want. You listen to Family Guy. I've meditated to South Park before. Just something that catches your attention, but not to the extent that you're enraptured by it to not be aware. You want to listen to it, be aware of it, but not be in it. You just want to be focused. Just what happens is by doing that, everything else kind of goes away, and your alignment with source energy becomes more direct and more in line. Does that make sense? It's kind of like dialing someone's specific extension as opposed to like dialing the 1-800 number. When you dial the extension, you're directly connected. But when you're like meditating casually and you're like, maybe you're humming or maybe you're like setting intentions to talk to your guys, maybe you're going upstairs in your little world or whatnot, that isn't as specific. It doesn't because you aren't focusing on anything, because you aren't present in the present moment, it isn't as specific, so you aren't connected to that source of energy. And that is how you get into the default reception of love. That's how you get into your default state of love, by being focused in the present moment. Because that is when manifestations come like this, so very quickly. Okay? I know I was rambling for like a good 5 minutes, but I hope that really touched whomever I was speaking to. Anything else for you, Thaddeus?
Got nothing to say.
Okay.
It's a ball now and then.
Yeah. Well, where are we at right now? But yeah. I think there's someone very specific I'm like really like speaking to. Okay, that was a nice little podcast. We did say it was gonna be shorter than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanna?
No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's about it. And the only one thing I can say is, yes, I said I was gonna say this next podcast.
Oh yes. Okay, go for it. You're correct. Go for it.
I'm gonna say it. So if you listened to the last podcast, you guys heard me trying to figure out this one word that took me like 5 minutes to figure out. No, it took me a day. I couldn't find it. But it was remote viewing.
And that he was right. It is a very common word. When he was saying so common, I'm like, nigga, no, it's not common. But that is quite common. Remote viewing, yes. It's been common for years. Like, for quite some time.
Told you.
Yeah, I didn't believe you, but yeah, you were right.
This is remote viewing.
Mm-hmm. But yes, we also have a Patreon that is already technically up. If you want to go to, I don't even know how to send them there. How do we do that? I guess if you go to patreon.com and you search for
Why Did I Incarnate?
Yeah, if you search for Why Did I Incarnate, we'll be on there. It'll be our little picture and stuff that we use for these podcasts. And you can donate to us. You can allow us to purchase better videography equipment, better audio equipment. We're going to be hopefully getting mics very shortly. We want to get better cameras so you can see us in our silly facial expressions as they're expressing. Because I feel like we're both very passionate when we speak. And I speak with my hands. So this entire time I'm like doing these hand signs. I'm like doing different jutsus and stuff. And I want you guys truly, like, I want you guys to see, like, what I'm doing with my hands. I want you guys to be a part of this experience, okay? And in order for us to create the experience that we both want to create, we have it in our heads, but we need the money to do it. And this Patreon is a perfect place for it. You don't have to spend ridiculous amounts. You can donate like $1 a month, and that will do wonders. $1 a month. What if 10 people did $1 a month? That'd be awesome. That'd be fucking phenomenal. That'd be crazy. If 10 people did that, I would be extremely happy. I would be extremely happy. Of course, I would love to get as much money as possible. I would love for this to skyrocket. Because all this is going back to the podcast. We aren't going shopping. You know, we aren't going to the movies. We want to put this into the podcast and grow from. We want a studio. We want to make sure like this becomes a top-notch production. And in order to do that, we need to be able to create that with the right equipment. You know, and hopefully you guys, well, not hopefully, I know you guys will support us and be the backbone of that. Because we do this for you. This is fun for us, but we benefit from this just as much as you do, because we're guiding you, and in the process of guiding you, we're guiding ourselves. Because how we show these podcasts is like, where am I in my life? And what am I doing with my life now? Am I growing today? What aren't I doing? What should I be doing? What will help someone else do what I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it because I didn't know how to do it. So we're kind of the voice of wanting you to do what we could have done, but we didn't know how to do. Okay? So in order to allow this type of momentum to spread, we want to spread it. You know, in order to do that, we need a quality equipment, and this Patreon page will help us do that.
Yes.
Yes.
To piggyback on what he said, because he said a lot of dues for some of y'all out there. Yes, what he was saying with the Patreon. So any of the money that we do receive is going back into the podcast. Like he said, we are working on getting better mics because we have been listening to some of the comments from those of you who are listening with the quality. So we're working on that. Me and him have been planning things out. So he did say the mic. He did say a camera, just so it's more interactive and you can see. And then this isn't immediate, but at some point we want to get our own studio and stuff like that, and work on that. And then also too, guys, because me and Darius, we're kind of like, how can I put it? I mean, we're natural born business like owners, so. Even if it's not like something you can support us with, like money, you can always support, like share resources or knowledge. Like
very true.
Yeah, like if you,
I know someone can do this, right? I can do this. I can contribute, like
Yeah, or somebody who's like, hey, I know somebody, because we're in West Palm Beach, Florida area. So you may know someone who's like, oh, hey, I know this person who has a studio and they're not really using it. You guys could do so. That's something.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It doesn't have to be something
financial.
Nothing. It doesn't have to be financial. I mean, we're all spiritual beings. There's more than one way of doing things.
Exchange energy, precisely.
Right. So that's something that'll definitely help. You can definitely check that out. We'll be posting that on the page as well. It should be easy to find. This is our kind of first time playing with the two, so it should be easy for you guys to find. But yeah, little stuff like that. And another point that he said too is he's very right when it is like what we do. We do share our life experiences and the stuff that we're going to, because literally right before we do a podcast, I'm always saying, so Darius, what have we been going through like this week? We always go from Tuesday to Tuesday. So in between Tuesdays, those 7 days or whatever, most of the topics is relevant and current.
Yeah.
With stuff that we have been going through, good or bad, and just sharing it, because I know I'm not the only one. I know Darius got this too, but it's like when you have a lot of wisdom and you gotten a lot of things, you learned a lot of stuff. You sometimes come across people and they just like, gosh, I wish I knew that, or I wish I would have known this or that when I was this age
Yeah,
or whatever.
true.
So just you guys listening to it and being able to receive, some of the things that we are currently going through, because I know me, I sometimes play one of our old podcasts, and I'm just like, gosh, I remember when I was not doing this, and now I've benefited from doing something else now. So that's definitely good too. And just another thing too, I mean, we definitely like to be more interactive with those who are
It'd
listening.
be nice.
Yeah.
If we were to have, we could. What I would love to do is like do like a Google Hangout. If you don't know Google Hangouts, it's basically like a live Skype. So it's like Skype but live.
Okay.
So like I can talk. Let's say you're in Australia. I can talk to you in Australia, but we'll have an audience watching us talk.
Oh.
Yeah, literally, I would love to do that, but I don't feel we have the equipment to do it in a way that will be correct. Of course, done is better than perfect, and if we get the opportunity, I'm down. But we would like to do it the right way, you know?
Yeah. And that's really our thing. Me and Darius are definitely about quality. We won't do something that looks not to our standards. So that's definitely one thing we want to do, and definitely share more with you guys. It'll definitely be fun, but yeah, we enjoy doing this, and it'll be nice, obviously. So I guess it's raining now. So
It is raining,
if you're hearing that rain in the background, that's what that is. So I love it, and it's a full moon too.
It is, yeah. All right, you guys, we're going to see you next week.
Yeah, well, y'all be hearing from us next week.
Right.
Y'all gonna be hearing from us. Yeah. Any other little announcements?
I don't think so.
That's about it, right? Okay, yeah, that's it. All right. Well, you guys have a fantastic night, and we will talk to you all very soon.